So when we study the glow ray or the glory, which is the excrement, which is the light, which is the Lucifer, which is the body, which is the Jesus, we can easily study it in places that are completely calculated. At the moment, right now, this very breath, I'm in Sin City, I'm in Las Vegas. So, just from observing Las Vegas, a city with an abundance, if you can even call it a city, it's like America's Dubai without any water element around. So it's a city with an abundance of fire element, an abundance of light. So we see with this, we have the compensation game going crazy. You know, as far as the yin and the yang, the battle of that going back and forth between inside of people, it's just ridiculous out this way or in this place, in this grid, which is perfectly mapped out, perfectly a plan, perfect. Everything is completely calculated in this place. Everything, every hotel, every room number, every time for an event, everything. If you think about it, whenever you're the most calculated, you're the most dead, and that's usually on vacation. It's because you're going from place to place and you're saying from here to here we're doing this, from here to here we're doing that, and then we do this and that from this time, and then you're more calculated in that period of time. Whenever you're the most calculated is when you're the most dead. So when you're the most dead, you can observe the light. At least that's what you're in observation of at that point. You're observing the light. So in a place like Las Vegas, in observation, you can see there's only so many hours of the day that a person can even move around. It's only you can only walk so far without needing to consume being in the middle of the desert and dealing with no trees, dealing with the everything coming off the cars and off the body heat of the people. It just makes it an unpleasant experience for that. So it keeps everyone inside or controls the times when they're in and out. And it's obvious when people are going to be moving. So everything is a calculated step. So the hustles or what people are trying to sell you on, because of course, dreams are sold, but only nightmares are bought. And that's another thing that we need to realize, that the dream is basically the lust of the unconscious. It's everything that you feel like you want to lust after and fantasize about. So if you're dreaming, of course, you gotta realize that you're running from the now. And anybody that is in fornication mode, in eat mode, and all these, creating more than they produce, eating more than they produce, they will always be on that. They will always be on that mode. That is just what comes with that. The compensation game has to happen. So what you realize with Las Vegas and these places where we're totally calculated and totally rationalized, that the dreams are being sold every 10 feet, but the only thing being bought is a nightmare, because that's the only thing that you can buy. It's an illusion draped in more illusion, which is delusion. So, and then dilution, which is splitting. And of course, that's what's going on, because you have only certain hours of the day people operate, certain times when people are going to go to sleep, which makes this not a vacuum, but a place where energy can just be pushed around a lot more easily, especially with the air not being dense at all. Everything can flow pretty freely because there's not that, there's electricity in the air from, of course, the fire from the external pineal or the sun. But at the same rate, anything can flow in and out. That's why you got a hot air constantly coming through the valley. It's an air being thought. You can project thought through that so easily, can slide so easily through that, can be permeated so easily through that, because there's no barrier. There's nothing to slow the thought down. There's no water or moisture to slow that down so that you could absorb it in a different way. So when you breathe it, especially if you are a person that has wider nostrils, you are more tuned to humidity in an East Coast environment somewhere. Somebody with thinner nostrils is more tuned for the West Coast arid climates. So it can infect anybody in different ways, but we just know that certain bodies are going to be more prone to being taken over more easily. It can happen to anybody, anywhere, but at the same rate, these are just things that we got to take into consideration. Knowing our body and knowing the not body, whatever. So once we study the glory like this, we realize that everything is so calculated, and that's what's happening when you die. You are basically being split and you become quantified. So you become crystallized, so you become dead, inert, or whatever. And it's just funny how they want you to leave no stone unturned, to keep constantly flip. But all you're looking at is sand going from sand to sand. If you talk as far as stone is concerned, which is basically what the bone is, which is what can reproduce everything that goes around the bone. If the person, or the entity, we should say, is totally conscious, they can lay their bones down where they want to and regenerate from those bones as they please. But this is a long ways off for even the thought of a person in total compensation mode, totally quantified person. Of course, they're measured, so they can't see beyond the horizon of a day, let alone a lifetime. So ROYALT512 at yahoo.com for the PDFs, RBUT Vegan on Amazon for the ebooks. They'll be up there till 2019. Jesus Christ 19 on IG. And just study the glow ray, man. Study when you are the most quantified, when you are the most measured in your life. You know, again, kids don't run miles. Kids run to enjoy movement in a moment. They're not like, I got this 5K coming up. Nah. So, you know, you got to look at the natural, or the neither in that way. You got to be able to see it that way. So